Hello, guys.
Uh, Where's your suit?
That's for the E3 showcase. I got my tux ready, my three-piece suit.
Okay. The showcase.
Has he joined the server yet?
Oh. What's up, everyone? And welcome to Project XTalk, an Xbox podcast, your weekly podcast all about Xbox. This is episode number 34. I'm your host, Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon, and I am joined this week by my lovely panel, Tom and Amon. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Good as always.
You're muted, Tom,
Good as always.
except for the meeting. Garrett, unfortunately, isn't joining us this week. He had a little bit of emergency. Now, before I introduce our special guest, which you can see on the screen if you're watching live, I want to remind everyone that we are live on YouTube every week on Thursdays around 4:45 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you can't catch us live, no worries. You can catch us our video on demand on the channel and on all audio platforms on Friday, the day after. If you are on audio platforms, please drop us a rating. And if you could, head over to Apple and drop us a review. It really does help grow the channel. I would love to see us get to 20 reviews over on Apple. We're at, I think, 10 right now, so we're about halfway there. So keep that up, guys. It really does help us out. Now, without further ado, I do want to introduce our guest this week. He's an ex-Sony game designer, having worked on titles such as Killzone 2 and Wipeout, the founder and CEO of Urban Zoo, and a member of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, Chris Grannell. Chris, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Apologies for the late start. Obviously, I had a bit of a crazy mix-up with Discord, etc. But yeah, really excited to be on. I know we've been talking the past couple of weeks. I think a few kind of life things got in the way and so on and so forth. So really privileged to be on, and I'm glad to finally kind of be here and to chat with you guys. So thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So before we go any further, I do want to give all our guests a little chance to plug themselves. So firstly, what is Urban Zoo?
Okay, yeah. So it's a project I'm working on at the moment. So it's a tech company. Predominantly, we work in kind of sports technology. So we do a lot of websites, apps, etc. for football clubs in England. So we work with a lot of clubs like Everton, Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Celtic in Scotland, you name it. So there's about 15 or so football clubs that we work with. And we're currently speaking to some kind of European-based ones. A bit of a diversion from game development. But as I say, around about 8, 9, 10 years ago, I kind of, there was a closure at Studio Liverpool for Sony, and a lot of people had the opportunity to go over to Canada, etc. And I'd been in game development for 14 years at that point, in various countries all over the world, and I think it was just the right time to kind of, take a bit of a break from it. I wanted to start my own business. And yeah, Urban Zoo. I did a bit of consultancy after Sony, helped a couple of startups who were looking at kind of mobile gaming and stuff in its infancy at the time. And then, yeah, set up Urban Zoo in 2013, doing that as a project at the moment. I've got some game concept stuff in the background, which is kind of like a side project, which I mentioned on Fonz's show a few weeks back. And then I think once this project is complete at some point, yeah, I'll look to do some independent stuff in the games industry again. So not gone, just taking a bit of a break for now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. I do have to ask you, do you guys work with my beloved Arsenal?
We don't at the moment, no. So we're slowly. So we work with Fulham and a couple of other clubs in London. Not to say that we won't, but we're just slowly slowly taking over the English football leagues at the moment. So one day with a bit of luck.
Yeah, I'm an Arsenal supporter. I know Amon here is a Liverpool supporter, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Liverpool supporter myself. So born and bred in Liverpool. So happy days. So we're not working with Liverpool yet, but maybe one day. So
one day. And moving away from Urban Zoo, Midweek Mix-Up. You're a panelist on there. What why don't you want to plug them a little bit? What's going on there? It's you getting into podcasting?
yeah, so I've been a guest on that show for 4 or 5 times. So Drew, Wandering Dutch, who runs that, a good friend, and obviously Forte Irwin, Archie, Patcher, Sham, everyone else on the show. And then, the opportunity was, I think, when you get to the point where you do 6 or 7 guest appearances, you may as well just be on the panel. So I think it was a natural progression to be part of that show. Obviously, I can't take any credit for that. That's that's Drew's baby, and the rest of the team have worked really hard on that. So just glad to support it. I kind of like the generalized, conversation and stuff. I think the guys tried to stay away from, too many kind of console wars and stuff. So just a nice kind of general chat like yourselves. And I know obviously you guys are predominantly Xbox fans, and I would say midweek, mix up is predominantly, an Xbox podcast, but obviously we do kind of move into what other people are doing. But yeah, it's just good to be part of a community and kind of help it grow. So the guys are really good. Looking forward to E3. I think we'll be doing a kind of an E3 show like lots of people are going to be doing.
Absolutely.
So I was just glad to be involved in it really and get invited.
Well, that's awesome. Everyone, make sure you go check them out. You guys it's Wednesday, right? Wednesdays?
Yeah, Wednesdays,
Midweek.
Midweek, Wednesdays, and it's 7 p.m. British summertime at the moment. So we had Wilmy and Husk on yesterday. And
great guys.
I think they were looking at like Google Google Calendar didn't care for British summertime, so we were like an hour out and stuff. So you've got to balance these things.
Absolutely, good guys. Well, we'll stop grilling you over there, and we'll move into our first segment here on Project XTalk. We start every week with one simple question. That question is, what you playing? So I'm gonna go around the room. Aman, what you playing?
So, like FIFA's my comfort game, but I'm done with FIFA at this point. So me and my friend group, we're trying to find something else, and I came across this game, which it's really famous, but like I'd never played it before. Rainbow Six Siege, and God, I am loving it. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't pick this up earlier. And with my friend group, I'm absolutely enjoying this game. I think Ella's probably my favorite operator. I really like her Scorpion and her Grismont Mines. If I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game so far.
Oh, cool. Tom, what you playing over there?
I've been playing a lot of Elder Scrolls Online this week. I probably put 20 hours into it. I'm just really excited for the expansion that's about to drop soon, and then the Series X update should be fun. It's just really an all-around fun game. I really don't have a lot of people to play this, so I'm just really going in solo and just blind. I just joined the guild. They don't want to talk to me because I'm a low level, so I guess I just have to keep leveling up until they accept me as one of their pack.
Well, that's a game I'm not gonna hop into with you, unfortunately. Do you pay, that's monthly subscription based, right?
If you want to, you do
Oh,
get a
okay.
lot of good benefits if you do pay a monthly subscription, but you do not need it. No.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm a little more tempted. Chris, what are you playing?
So a couple of things at the moment. I been just started having a look of Knockout City, so I don't know if any of you guys have had to go that. Good fun and stuff. The main thing I'm playing at the moment is Biomutant. Absolutely loving Biomutant. I know it's had a bit of a hard rap. I think a mixture of some unjust kind of unjust press reviews and stuff, and then I think we had the whole kind of console war fanboy stuff because they couldn't quite achieve what they wanted to achieve on PlayStation, unfortunately. So I think it was something that I wanted to play anyway, but I think as soon as the developers started getting kind of personal attacks against them and stuff, I just made sure that I bought that kind of day one, support them. And actually I'm loving it. I'm loving the exploration. I'm loving the kind of the look and feel of the landscape. It's buttery smooth on the Series X. I enjoyed the combat's got a nice level of depth to it. So I think it does feel a bit, if you don't give it enough time beyond like the first hour or so, the combat does feel a little bit kind of button bashing. But obviously you're just starting off as a low level Biomutant, and as you start to unlock more of the kind of Wung Fu moves and stuff like that, you start to chain, those kind of combos together. You start defending properly and blocking and things like that. So yeah, it just opens up really nice, and it's good to find new gear. I'm on side quests, which like certain reviews said the side quests were quite boring, but I'm really enjoying the side quests. So I'm looking for different suits that allow me to explore different areas and things. So yeah, good on the team. They've done a really good job. I'm enjoying it, and actually quite a lot of friends I speak to playing it on both kind of PS5 and Xbox are really enjoying it as well. So yeah, I think it's had a bit of a hard rap, unfortunately, but it's really, really enjoying it. Looking forward to what they do, kind of in DLC and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I know our buddy Ains over at Season Gaming. He loved that game. He gave it like a 9 out of 10, I think, on their site. So I've heard people I know have given good reviews of it. The general press has been very mixed on it, to say the least. So
it's odd. Aids' review was really good.
yeah.
I think it was a good kind of a good solid review, and as I say, there was a few other decent guides saying the narrator can be a bit irritating at the start and things like that, but I just kind of turned the frequency down on the narrator. But it's just got like a nice blend of obviously they took inspiration from things like Zelda. I think it's got like elements of Phoenix Rise into it. It's just a fun game that you can kind of get lost in the world, enjoy a bit of combat, explore side quests and stuff. And one of the things I didn't really realize, obviously, we've seen screenshots of like mounts and stuff like that. But you end up getting like mechanized robots, and you end up getting these kind of jet ski things to traverse water and things like that. So there's a real diverse selection of vehicles and stuff. So it's got some great depth, and I'd highly recommend people playing it.
Cool. I know it just got a big patch. I think I'm waiting for the Series X version because they said they were going to give a next gen update before I
like the proper
hop into it.
dedicated.
Yeah, I just don't want to buy it and then like have it not be a free update because I don't know where THQ Nordic stands on free or not updates. So that's in my wait category. But I've been busy this week, guys, playing lots of games. Still working through Mass Effect 2 in the Legendary Edition. Other than that, I've been playing Yooka-Laylee, the original one, not the Impossible Lair, the one that's basically Banjo-Kazooie reskinned. I just love 3D platformers. It's a lot of fun. The game has so many little puns in it. Shovel Knight is in it. I did not know that. He gives you a quest to go do. They have a thing called Kardos, the god of ore. So they're very cheeky. I'm liking the game a lot. Other than that, I've been playing Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Yoshi's Crafted World with my girlfriend because we're really enjoying two-player co-op games right now. Really, Donkey Kong's great. Yoshi's a little easy, but Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is absolutely fantastic, completely exceeding my expectations. The animations, it's absolutely gorgeous for the Switch. I wish every Switch game could look as good as this game. I tried out Super Bomberman R Online, and this was a game you and me talked about, Tom. I don't know, have you tried it yet?
I did. It was a little weird. I thought I went into it thinking it was gonna be more like Tetris 99.
Yeah.
It's good in its own ways, but I see what you were saying about the microtransactions on that one.
It's very well, I mean, it was this was the game that was a Stadia exclusive and just came to consoles. It's very heavily microtransaction. It's kind of fun for a little bit. I don't know how much time I'll put into it, but it's a little bit of fun. I think it's an easy platinum is kind of the reason I want to keep playing it. I think I can just get those like 10 trophies real quick, bang that out. And then I also started playing Operation Tango, the free PS5 game this month on PS Plus. You have to play with another person. It's like It Takes Two or A Way Out. One person's a hacker, one person's a spy, and this game is way better than I thought it would be. It's difficult and fun at the same time. You have to communicate. If you cannot communicate, you will not succeed because the other person has to describe what is on their screen to you. Like I was given like 40 choices of triangle and circle, but they were all like different combinations, and the other person has to describe what they're seeing in order for you to pick out the right one. So it's really good. I would, if you have PS Plus, I think it's only available for the PS5 version though, but it is on everything. Only one person has to buy it. You get a friend code to send to someone, and it's cross-platform. So really no reason to, if you got a friend that wants to play with you on anything, just pick that up and go for it. Other than that, I think it's time for us to get into the news roundup, guys. And we're done. I'm just kidding. There's like no news this week, mainly because everyone's waiting for E3. News that relates to Xbox anyway. We have a few things that I'll quickly go over because there isn't really much to talk about. We have some Game Pass editions. The Wild at Heart comes to cloud, For Honor comes to cloud and console, and Backbone comes to PC, and then Darkest Dungeon comes to cloud, console, and PC. I think they're saving the majority of Game Pass for their showcase, what they're going to announce there. We have some new dates. Battlefield 6 reveal on June 9th. Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis also on June 9th. Console exclusive, that is, Phantasy Star Online. Crisis Remastered Trilogy is launching this fall for next-gen consoles. We have Tell Me Why, currently free for the entire month of June on Xbox, Steam, Windows Store, wherever you can get it, to celebrate Pride Month. Great gesture there from the team at Don't Nod and Xbox. And then we have two rumors, guys, and we can talk about a little more about this one. According to Famitsu, a new school-based RPG will be revealed on June 10th, titled Monarch. The game is being developed by former Shin Megami Tensei staff, the original series, of course, that led to Persona. So you guys excited about this at all?
I've not seen much about it personally, so I'm not. Yeah.
I'm more just the developers and what they, school based has me, obviously everyone giving Persona vibes, so I'm kind of overhyping myself for disappointment here, but
I'm looking forward to this because I played Shin Megami Tensei: The Devil Summoner on my PSP. It was actually one of the first games I ever played. It was a great game, and I don't remember much from it because I was like 8, I think. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
Of course, you were 8. It really depends on how much the school elements are involved in this. Honestly, I like that about Persona 5, but to me, I'm not really about the whole high school dramas that they love to do, like on these JRPGs and on anime, for example. It's just depends on how much of that we get, whether or not I'll be even remotely interested in that.
Are you telling me that you don't like the relationship aspect of Persona?
No, the relationship aspect was fine in Persona, and I liked Persona 5. A lot of what Persona 5 did well, a lot of it took place outside of the school. Those were my favorite aspects of it. But obviously it was diverged back to the school somehow. But as long as it's not the center focus, I should say, that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I know Persona 4 Golden, you can do a little more with the school activities compared to Persona 5. Like you can join like the band and the soccer team, and it actually like boosts your stats and relationships. So I wouldn't mind a little more stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely don't want it to be like a slice of life anime where I'm just going to school, because not about that.
Mayday Bomber in the chat says just make it a dating sim.
Get rid of all unnecessary
combat and invest in these relationships.
That's a take. Let me attend chemistry class. Slice of life anime is the best. That's a take. It's certainly a take. So we'll get more about that next week. I did just want to mention that. And then Jeff Grubb has been talking about Halo at E3 over on his Twitch channel. He said Microsoft seems interested in catering to Halo-ass Halo fans, and he thinks Halo fans will see it as more, non-Halo fans will see it as just more Halo. Sorry, stumbling over my words. He expects E3 to be focused on multiplayer and doesn't expect a battle royale at launch. He also says, don't expect a major deep dive into Halo. They're busy finishing the game, not making vertical slices for E3. What do you guys think he's probably on the money here, or you a little disappointed if we don't get a major deep dive? Would multiplayer be enough at E3?
If it's a deep dive, it's within the multiplayer. Yeah, that's honestly the main draw for Halo for me. I mean, the stories are always there.
I don't give a crap about multiplayer.
You just
I don't
started
give
Rainbow
two shits
Six.
about multiplayer.
You just started Rainbow Six, a
Yeah, no, but,
multiplayer
like, Halo
exclusive game.
multiplayer. I don't know.
I think the Xbox console fans are going to be hungry, aren't they? So I think there'll be a bit of disappointment if we don't see. I think the thing for me is I need to see. Joe, I want to see it kind of running on Joe series consoles. Really, we keep getting these kind of screenshots on PC and stuff like that, but Joe, Halo isn't. Halo isn't traditionally a PC game. It's it's an Xbox console game, and I think people need to have a little bit of reassurance that it's kind of on track, it's looking good, and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily know they need to go into a super big deep dive. I mean, personally, I'd like the team to carry on, finish the game, get it ready. But I think after the kind of last showing, which for me personally wasn't that bad. I think coming from a development background, I kind of understand and appreciate and see some of these little snags and for what they are. But the thing with Halo for me is the gameplay just looks spot on. Really fast. Moving through the level. Obviously, the use of like the grappling hook and stuff like that. So all what Halo is kind of renowned for, really sharp, really quick kind of shooter. It looked to capture that. Obviously, people wanted to be blown away, and people had, certain people may have had, expectations blown out of proportion and stuff, not fully understanding what we were going to see from early next gen. But I think we just need a little bit of confidence, or people need a little bit of confidence to see that kind of what does it look like on Series console, what does it look like on Series X? Has it made enough of a kind of leap forward so people have got faith in 343 delivering? So I think it will be a bit disappointing if they don't go, they don't show us something on console. But like anything, let everyone finish it off. Let's get a good polished game in my eyes, and let's play it when it's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking as someone, since you have the development background, how much resource wise, how intensive is it to make these vertical slices for like shows that we see?
Oh, it's a massive distraction. So it could really kind of take away. It can take away the kind of flow and momentum and things like that. So we used to have to look at kind of cutting off a 3 or 4 month old build. So you're running up to kind of E3 or a big event. You 3 or 4 months before that, you're kind of trying to get your most stable build available. Then you kind of section that off. You keep that kind of safe, and then you've essentially got resource of the team, polishing that particular bit of gameplay, making sure that the AI acts correctly, making sure that the scripting's correct, removing any kind of anomalies and things like that. And that's resource that is better spent on getting the game done. And it used to be quite frustrating for us as a team. And it's not like Sony's fault, or it's the nature of the beast. But you take a good chunk of your team, and you'll lose artists to the vertical slice. You'll lose AI programmers. You'll lose kind of physics people. You'll lose gameplay designers if there's some weapon play or driving model, depends on what the game is, etc. Flying model, in Wipeout, and it's just a resource hog, really. And it tends to be a period in time when you as a development team are kind of in the flow. You're moving towards kind of getting that game finished. And I think one of the things that people don't realize is that it's really difficult for people developing games, because you've been living and breathing that for 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how big the game is. And by the time you get to kind of release, it's really good to see what people's reactions are and see whether you've kind of achieved what you tried to achieve. But the last thing you want to do is really is want to play multiplayer on that game. You've kind of had enough of that game. You want a bit of a break, and you want to start kind of on the next game. And obviously, you'll have friends and you'll have people who kind of want to pull you into a multiplayer game or have a race or do this or do that. But really, it's kind of the last thing you want to do because that's all you've thought about. It's all you've kind of worked on for, as I say, 4 or 5 years, and then for you, it's kind of time for a break and time for a change, and so it's a lot. It's a hard slog, and then so that's why that's why it kind of bothers me because the last thing you want is a load of developers like THQ getting stick. Oh, you didn't do this, and you haven't looked after kind of the Sony players and stuff like that. That's nothing to do with THQ. That's a fundamental flaw in how backwards compatibility works on PlayStation at the moment and what the tools that they've got. But the developers got the brunt of it, and I think we saw a very good kind of social or community manager on THQ's Twitter. Kind of
their Twitter was great.
Yeah. Answering those questions in a good way, and trying to stop people from kind of don't be mean. We're a small team in the grand scheme of things and stuff like that. So it's a massive resource hog, and there's also like an unrealistic expectation of what you're seeing as well. So I said this on midweek, and I also said it on Boom's podcast on Monday. I was on that, and I'm not a huge fan of vertical slices because it's a very kind of controlled and fake version of how a game is played. And we were talking about Horizon, Forbidden West, and I wasn't kind of having a pop at Horizon. I was talking about when we saw Division, the Division 1, that vertical slice that we saw where they kind of moved into the police station and everyone was kind of acting, properly, and we'll stand here and we'll pretend that we're a squad and we'll shoot some advertising signs so the sun beautifully shines through bullet holes and stuff like that. And all of these things kind of they're scripted to provide, the perfect vision of what the game would be like, and the AI scriptings, the designer or whoever is playing the game and recording is playing it in a very perfect particular way to make sure that everything works in the correct manner and so on and so forth. So it's quite difficult sometimes to it looks great and it sells the kind of the scene and the atmosphere, but as soon as you go into a game and some lone wolf just goes like Leroy and kind of runs off and breaks all the spawn-ins and everything, and you're like, well, where's this experience that I've just kind of seen, and they're not chasing me the way they were, and I didn't climb up this post, and so on and so forth. So I think it's of course you need to PR, you need to advertise your games, but it's a resource hog, and it's a slightly unrealistic version of what the game is going to be like, because if you take Forbidden West, for example, yes, you're gonna at some point you're gonna have to climb up those pillars to jump out of that little scene where the robot raptors were chasing. But what if you just stand at the bottom and don't want to climb? And this is what I was saying on the podcast. So those raptors kind of continue to climb because they're scripted, or are they having a fight at the bottom? Is it kind of a forced progression mode? So you die, or something like that. So all of these things look amazing, and they are like a movie trailer. They sell, sell a film or whatever it is. But it can give a bit of a false expression, and there's always it never says, but it should have a caveat saying all of this is subject to change, because sometimes it usually does. Something will drop, something will. There's very clever cuts and so on and so forth. So, you just it's great to see, and I like to see gameplay and stuff like that. I'm certainly not knocking Guerrilla. Guerrilla are a fantastic developer, really talented group. But sometimes the developers get put under a bit of unjust pressure, to show something off, and when they want to finish a game,
yeah. No, I think that was amazing insight. Wow, that was captivating. Certainly, getting some inside development scoops here. Speaking of PlayStation, we do have a question from Yellow Devil in the chat. He says, thoughts on God of War's PS5 version? Looks like the best stuff is going to be cross-generational. I'm gonna throw this one over to Tom, Amon. Well, we'll get everyone's opinion, but what do you guys think? Is this as big of a deal as Twitter is letting me out?
I'm thrilled.
You're thrilled.
I'm thrilled this coming on PS4. Yeah, because I don't have a PS5 yet, so I'm kind of happy it's coming on PS4. But yeah, I do understand the frustration. Like Jim Ryan said, we do believe in generation. Whereas he isn't really showing that. He just said it, and now Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War Ragnarok probably are all confirmed to be on PlayStation 4. So it is a little disappointing, but me personally, I'm thrilled because I get to play it now.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah, I mean,
what's your reaction?
I was in the same boat. Like the reason I was going to get a PS5 this year was because I need to get God of War. I don't care that it's coming to PS4. I mean, that's good for me. I'm gonna play it on the PS4. There's a lot of hate on the internet on Sony's side, and I get because of the backtracking pretty much about like believing in generations. I mean, but in all honesty, these systems like the PS4, Xbox One, and the new consoles, they're all built on like the x84 architecture, so it should really be a lot more scalable, especially when you look at the PC side of things on how they are able to manage to work on such a wide range of units and graphics cards. So I see why people like want to justify their purchase, like, oh, I got a PS5 for God of War. That doesn't mean the other guys on the PS4 side of things can't also enjoy good things. So that's my take.
I'm torn. I understand from a business decision why they do this, why they're doing it now. My problem is they've never done it in the past, right? Like you couldn't play Infamous Second Son on your PlayStation 3, and I understand the PlayStation 3 is a different architecture, but what is the point in getting a PS5? It's to play next gen games. And I'm not trying to take games away from PS4 players, but there are more PlayStation 5s in the wild right now than there were PS4s at this time in the life cycle. So why was the PS4 getting exclusives and the PlayStation 5 isn't? Is it just because the PS4 sold more than the PS3? Possibly, probably. But as someone with a PS5, I do want those next gen experiences, and it's something we talked about this when Xbox said that they were going to support cross generational play for like 2 years, and Xbox One was getting everything. Like I would love if Halo was simply dedicated to the Series X. Like I understand there's similar architecture, but building for one ecosystem or one console, or even two with the Series S, is a lot easier than building for multiple, right? Maybe I'm wrong here, but Chris, you want to correct me on any of that, or?
No, I think the issue is transparency. So I think Sony have always been a bit cloak and dagger, and very kind of traditional, very kind of you keep your secrets close to your chest, and very worried about kind of the enemies out there and they're going to copy what we're doing and things like that. So in its kind of PS like Vita, infancy and things like that, when we had like dev kits, Sony were petrified of Apple, absolutely petrified of Apple, because a tech company made an iPhone which you could play games on and stuff like that, and a lot of the developers were like, that's a totally different kind of gaming experience, and there was kind of like multiple layers of NDA. There was a small group of kind of 15 to 20 people working on the new handheld hardware, and it was secret, and it was kind of like a sackable offense if anyone outside of that room, even within the Sony organization, found out what it was and stuff like that, because it obviously had like there was like touch elements on the back of it, and there was all this kind of thought that kind of well, Apple are going to do the same, and Apple are going to put two screens on, and they're going to try and outdo, and all of this kind of stuff. And Sony don't really need to be like that. PlayStation was it was the kind of birth of like 3D gaming, and its brand is kind of strong enough as it is. And I think the problem that a lot of fans have got. So you've got two things which are happening at the moment. You've got the kind of, unfortunately, you've got the console wars. So you've got the, you guys better have the same, the same sort of kind of flex and so on and so forth, because all you did was argue the fact that Series S was going to hold back Series X. So there was that kind of narrative. And of course, Sony wanted people to go out and they wanted to make PS5, the fastest selling PlayStation console. They wanted people to grab that off the shelf because guess what? We've got God of War coming. We've got all of these games coming. The PS5 exclusives, and you're going to get these experiences where you can't get it anywhere else. And lo and behold, I knew from day one they were going to be cross-generational stuff. Because if you think about it, those teams will have been making the games long before PS5 was around. There would have been a generational switch. They would have been developing it for PS4 Pro. Then there would have been a switch to start looking at PS5 hardware and so on and so forth. And you've got 140, 50 million units out there. So why wouldn't you want to sell to that crowd? And I think all Jim needed to do and Sony needed to do was turn around and go, these games are coming. They're going to look fantastic on PS5. They're going to look the best version of that game on PS5. But we're also going to support, our huge, previous generation fan base and so on and so forth. And this whole kind of we believe in generations thing has just backfired massively. And it's kind of to the point where it's not just fanboys now. You've got PlayStation fans who are a bit disheartened. You've got press saying, actually, why can't you just be transparent with your customer base and say, this is what we're going to do? And in the same way, we all knew for years that PlayStation games were going to come to PC. Lots of us were talking about them coming to an untapped market. And why wouldn't you if you wanted to make money? And Decima Engine works perfectly on PC and all of these things. So I think it's just a case of transparency. And for me, that's where Phil is kind of a great leader on the Xbox side, and Xbox have always been transparent. There's always been individuals who will speak to you on Twitter, reach out to you, engage in conversations, Jason Ronald, Aaron Greenberg, whoever it may be, Josh Muncie. All of these people will have a conversation, but it's a conversation which isn't PR led. I've spoken to Josh a few times in direct messages and things like that, and they've just been genuinely interesting conversations where I've asked the odd question and he's gone, actually, I'm not quite sure. I'll double check and this, that, the other. And I think that's kind of a refreshing part of Xbox's trait. And the thing is Herman's he's a great person, great leader, great entrepreneur, got loads of background in games. So for me, he almost should be the kind of Phil Spencer. He should be a voice that speaks to people, speaks to the PlayStation fans, and so on and so forth, and be transparent and not just rely on these kind of blog posts, which then contradicted that, Gran Turismo was going to come to previous generations and all this stuff. And then you look on the flip side with the new Forza, Xbox have turned around and gone, it's series console only because we're doing new tire models, we're doing advanced physics, we're doing all of these things that we want to be the best version they can be. And unfortunately, we're not going to support previous consoles so we can achieve those things. And it's purely about transparency, and I think that's the thing which people are getting a little bit fed up of, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if they had come out from the start and said that these were going to be cross-gen, then there would be a lot less I mean, they would have got initial backlash, but the backlash right now would not be there. And I do think it's overblown. Ultimately, it isn't that big of a deal. If you have a PlayStation 5, you're going to play the PlayStation 5 version. You can be like, oh, the PS4 is holding it back. Well, if they felt that way, they would design it strictly for the PS5. Like Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank designed specifically for the PS5.
Yeah, and you've got, there's reasons for that. You've got the kind of level traversal, which it's not. There's been kind of crazy stories that, the Series X can't do that because the PS5's got, a super fast SSD and stuff like that, which is not true. But, the PlayStation 4 with its kind of mechanical hard drive and stuff will have problems with that type of traversal, because you're caching, you're kind of instantly loading. You've got that extra grunt. And obviously they want to go to town with like ray tracing. Looks beautiful on Ratchet and Clank.
Mhm.
And the thing is as well, I don't understand what the disappointment is, because you can see, Miles Morales is still an absolutely beautiful game on PS5. And you can play it on PS4 and all of these things. So some of the cross-gen stuff, and I was on RDX podcast, way back, even last year it may have been or something, and Dealer and I and the rest of the panel were saying, this kind of being held back by the Series S and stuff like that, is nonsense. There's a reason why, the GDK is being built and all of these tools have been built to make things easier, to port to kind of PC and different consoles and so on, as you were saying. So I think the people it bothers more are the people who are chasing kind of clout, are the people who say,
Yeah.
I've got this most powerful console and you can't get it anywhere else and stuff like that. And this kind of exclusive argument, which is crazy. If you play a game on an Xbox or a PS5, and then Days Gone's gone to a PC, people are in uproar now because it's like it's not exclusive for PlayStation anymore, and it's exclusive for PlayStation on console. And the PC, yeah, there's a few of us who are lucky enough to have a gaming PC and a PlayStation and an Xbox and so on and so forth. But if you're a real staunch PC gamer, you don't care that that's on an Xbox or on a PlayStation or whatever. When that comes to, and you've only got to look at what the sales have been like for, Days Gone. Top of the charts on Steam, and people really experiencing it like the best version of the game, and so on and so forth. I haven't got a problem with more gamers enjoying more games, and I think the majority, you guys, the majority of sane people don't have an issue with more gamers enjoying more games. It's just those, fanatics or those people who are chasing clout are the ones who want to go, this is mine, you can't have it. And as soon as it becomes available for someone else, they turn on their beloved company, in a really bad way. And I think it's a bad look, really. Gaming's supposed to be a hobby and supposed to be fun. It's like, so why does it become what it becomes on social media? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think we're all in agreement here that stop sending death threats to everyone. We don't need all this. Just enjoy the game when it comes out, whatever platform you have. You'll enjoy it. God of War 2 will be amazing. Everyone's gonna love it anyway. So once it's out, nobody's gonna complain.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what hardware you've got. If you've got a talented team, like those guys and girls, like Insomniac and stuff like that, like Nintendo, the weakest bit of hardware, and the games are kind of timeless. They've got like a beauty to them. They work really well, and so on and so forth. And just imagine what Nintendo stuff's going to look like if we do get the Switch Pro that people have been kind of rumoring and stuff like that. So it's the talent will make use of what hardware they've got. Yet the the better specs and the better kind of IO and the better combination together, at some point you're going to produce something even better. But it doesn't mean God of War or any of these games are going to be terrible, because you've only got to look at like the previous God of Wars or The Last of Us or Uncharted, which looked amazing on PS4 Pros and stuff.
Yep.
So we're in for a treat, and people just need to, as you said, people need to just enjoy where they're going to be able to play it, really.
Yellow Devil says, I need to delete my threats.
Please do so.
All right. Well, we brought up the Switch Pro and rumors, so I think we'll transition off our side tangent about God of War, and we'll move into the fun topic of the show, which is our E3 predictions. They're going to be a little outrageous. We told everyone, have a little fun with them, but keep them in the realm of reality. And I'm gonna start with Tom. Tom, why don't you give me one of the 8 you came up with?
All right. So my first one is Microsoft announces Halo Infinite multiplayer alpha and drops it the same day. I don't believe this is unreasonable either. The game's 5 months off. I feel like doing an alpha and getting some real-time player input or this early on can help shape it and better refine it. So when they do come down with the eventual beta later on, it'll be a much more grounded game. And plus, I really just want to play Halo. Just give it to me. One map is all I need. 4v4, please.
Alpha though, like why don't we just? I'd rather just go to a beta, right? Like alpha kind of worries me that it's not as far along as it should be.
I mean, I'm not a game developer. I have no idea what the progressions should be. To me, it seems like reasonable. Alpha, beta's like right about, it's almost done, and then, but.
Okay. All right. I think that's a reasonable prediction. I don't think anybody will disagree with you. If they do, speak now, forever hold your peace.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable within the realms of reality.
All right. Well, speaking of someone that probably won't have something in the realms of reality, Aman, what prediction you got for me?
So my first prediction, this one's kind of a no-brainer. This one is Elden Ring will be fully announced, a gameplay trailer, and it will get a release window of spring 2022.
Okay. I mean, I've heard Elden Ring won't be at E3 and it'll be at Summer Game Fest. So maybe.
I don't know. I think it will be at E3 because Bandai Namco is at E3. What else do they have to show besides Elden Ring?
Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise, whatever other anime game.
We've already seen all that.
We haven't seen enough Tales of Arise, let me tell you.
We might get some more Tales of Arise, but we need, they need to end the show in a big way, and there's no better way to do it besides like Elden Ring. So,
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think.
I honestly feel like if they did Elden Ring, they would do that on one of the big showcases like PlayStation or Xbox, not like their own publisher event.
I agree.
But I still agree.
You'll get more eyes on it. All right. I'm fine with that. Chris, you got a prediction? I know we threw this at you.
Just some outrageous predictions.
Yeah.
I reckon. So I think Dying Light 2, Battlefield 6, and Far Cry 6 all come to Game Pass day one. Boom.
Oh, okay.
Just triple whammy. Take that.
I've heard Battlefield.
We're not just bringing first-party games to Game Pass. We're bringing massive hitters to Game Pass. Have some of that. No, I think one of those will come to Game Pass. Maybe two.
I think that's a fair prediction. Battlefield, I know, is heavily rumored. We've seen that.
I think Dying Light. Yeah, and I think Xbox obviously got Dying Light. They funded Dying Light to come out to kind of develop a Purgatory. So it kind of feels like they funded that to kind of get it back on track and stuff. So you can imagine that landing. Yeah, as you say, there's the kind of rumors of Battlefield 6 coming. I think Battlefield 6 coming to Game Pass makes sense just because of the attachment rate, really. If EA want to kind of day one, let's get 40 million people, plus onto Battlefield 6. And let's get those servers packed. And I'm sure, even though they're trying to say they're moving away from it, but I'm sure there'll be additional packs and you name it to buy. So they're not going to kind of lose revenue in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can see those two. The Far Cry one's just me playing a bit. I think not necessarily E3, but I definitely think that Uplay or whatever is coming to Game Pass before the end of the year. I think that's going to be the next big Game Pass Ultimate. You've got EA, you've got Ubisoft. I think Xbox are going all out, as we know, to make that the place to play games and bangers and whatnot. Maybe a cheeky little Warner Brothers acquisition. Just being saved for E3.
Well,
who knows?
Let's not blow all the predictions. We're gonna go around a few times here. All right, I see Amon's been whispering in your ear about this Warner Brothers. I'll give my first prediction. Where do I want to start here? I mean, I'll go with the one Tom saw, and it's pretty on brand for me. If anyone listens to our podcast, Banjo-Kazooie 3 is revealed and will release in 2023. It's being made by Playtonic, who Xbox have licensed the IP out to, and it will release on Xbox and Nintendo Switch.
Mm.
That's my prediction. I love Banjo-Kazooie.
Playtonic are the ukulele people, aren't
They're
they?
the ukulele people. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
the ukulele people. They were. We actually had a Twitter exchange with them recently, saying that they would love to make the game. They're big fans, but
Yeah.
that is not something that they're currently doing. But I say make it happen, Xbox. And I said Nintendo Switch because I feel like you have to. I know it's an Xbox game, but I don't think it'll hurt putting it on Switch like they did with Ori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that one happening.
I love it. All right, Tom, round 2. These are all too realistic here, guys. Come on, where's the ridiculousness?
I'm gonna save my good ones for later.
All right.
So Ubisoft announces Uplay Plus for consoles. Not specific to Game Pass. They're just gonna announce it for console wide, just like they have it on PC now.
Okay. All right. Also a heavily rumored one.
See, the problem I have with Uplay coming to Game Pass is that I don't think Uplay will come to Game Pass because all Ubisoft games launch day one on Uplay. That means they'll launch day one on Game Pass. I don't think that will happen. I think they'll have something like the entire Ubisoft backlog comes on Game Pass like this holiday or something.
New releases don't.
Yeah. Maybe like 6 months after they launch or a year after they launch or something like that.
I mean, I really don't care either way. As long as they release Uplay Plus, I only play a couple of games of theirs a year. If I can pay $15 for 1 month of Uplay Plus to beat the game that I want to beat, and then just drop the subscription until I want to resub, that's game for me. I don't have to pay $60.
I think the reason, I think for me, the reason why it will happen is because obviously Ubisoft have, they came out and said they wanted to create more like games as a service, and I think they would then need something like Game Pass to ensure that they've got like an attach rate. So if you think we're gonna kind of move to, there's rumors in terms of if you look at kind of like the attach rate to Game Pass, that we're going to kind of move to what potentially could be 18, 20 million Game Pass subscribers or Game Pass Ultimate subscribers by the end of the year. That's just something that if Ubisoft want to do this games as a service. So if you think like a lot of Ubisoft games become like Rainbow Six Siege, they've got lots of microtransactions in those games to make money. So let's attach as many people as we can to our services, and then let them just buy, wearables and usables and you name it. I think you've got a good take on it there, Aman. I think having the back catalogue available to everyone is great because it'll kind of rekindle some people to be able to play the games. But I think they could reserve some of the kind of AAA bangers, but then some of these kind of games as a service may drop onto Game Pass as well. So I think it's an interesting, look at especially with what's gone on with Stadia and stuff. So you could kind of see it not happening because they were really kind of in bed with Stadia, but unfortunately Stadia's just kind of going in a direction that a lot of people thought it would go in, sadly.
Yeah, I do see your point there. There's also the new Division game launching this year, which is supposed to be free to play. The one from Heartland Studio, I think. So yeah, I do see your point there.
All right. Well, Aman, you're up for round 2. Why don't you go ahead?
Second prediction. So this will be part of the Ubisoft showcase again. I believe we will get a gameplay trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and we won't get a definite release date, but we will get a gameplay trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that's just Ubisoft saying the game's still live. It's going to happen, and I think it should come out around 2023 or late 2022.
Hasn't it been in development forever? That's so long.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just been
yeah.
around for so long.
I feel like I've given up on this game ever coming out. So if it comes true,
We'll
I'm with
see.
you.
We'll see.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm
Will it into existence? Will it into existence? All right. I think it's Chris's turn.
Okay, so something a bit different. I think we will see an Alan Wake sequel. So I'm not saying it'll be connected to kind of, not necessarily saying it'll be like Xbox publishing it or anything like that. But I think someone will be someone will be doing Alan Wake. Yeah, I think it's too much of an interesting series to go to go away. In fact, actually, no, I think. Just trying to think who owns the IP. Is it back with Remedy or?
Yeah, I think Remedy owns it.
Yeah, so I think they'll do it. Someone else will publish it. I don't think it'll be like exclusive to any particular platform. I just think we'll see an Alan Wake sequel finally. So that's my round two. I'll keep it into singles now rather than dumping all my ideas.
That would be great. That would be great. We definitely need a sequel to Alan Wake, and they can put it in the Control universe. Since they're kind of weaving those together, they can build off that. I think it would really do really well based on the reception they had with Control. So I'll pick one. What do I want to go with here? Okay, I will go with this one. PlayStation, whenever they do their show for the summer, obviously not at E3, it could be Summer Game Fest or July or whenever they're doing their presentation. PlayStation announces the return of Sly Cooper or Jack and Daxter, developed by Media Molecule or Sumo Digital.
Or you have to pick one.
Or no, one of those developers will be doing it, and it'll be one of those IPs. I'm giving myself wiggle room here.
That sounds like cheating, but I would love a new Sly Cooper.
I would love a new Sly Cooper. I was really disappointed. I was like, I wanted a collection. There's a Jack and Daxter collection that you can play on the PS4, so you can play on the PS5. And I was like, is there a Sly Cooper collection that I could go get and play? No, you can only play those on PS Now, and I am not doing that. So give me Sly Cooper, preferably. I think I would rather Sly Cooper out of those two, but it's gonna happen. Okay. That's my
someone in the chat said, why not a Sobe?
Why not a Sobe?
So yeah, they could bring one of your IPs back, but
I love Astro. I love Astro. They got the platforming skills, certainly. I'm down with a Sobe. If they want to do it, I just feel like I didn't pick a Sobe because they literally didn't the whole studio just get shuffled around, like Japan studio, and now it's a Sobe over there, and I think they got some other thing going on. I mean,
yeah, it's got like they had assistants, didn't they, as well, from like England and the UK and different territories as well. I know one of the developers in Liverpool kind of helped on with some of the assets, I think, and stuff on Astro Playroom and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's a mixture of people involved in that, isn't it? But no, good shout.
I went with Sumo because they made Sackboy Big Adventure, so they've been working with PlayStation recently. All right, Tom, back to you.
All right. Bandai Namco finally reveals a game that they've been working on for like over 10 years now. Tekken X Street Fighter finally gets actual gameplay and a release date.
I was wondering where you were going with this. I forgot that game even got announced.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved the Tekken combat system, so I would love to see it with actual Street Fighter. I mean, they've done it a little bit with when they added Akuma in the most recent game, so if they can do that full round, I would love it.
Oh, you're getting a little robot-y for me. Anybody else hearing Tom being a little robot?
Yeah, a little robot, yeah.
Little robot.
A little robot.
I said good things about Tekken.
I heard them. They just sounded like a robot was saying them. Yeah, I'd be down for that. That'd be cool. That'd be a big surprise, certainly. Come on.
I think this is prediction. So for my third prediction, I think during the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, we will be getting ZeniMax Online Studios' new game. They're working on a new MMORPG, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing that at this showcase.
Okay.
Talking too loud.
That's a tame one for you.
Saving the best for last.
But
last.
what universe are they gonna go with? Fallout, Elder Scrolls
No,
Online
it's
2?
a new IP. It's a new IP.
Is
Right.
that what they confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what Mr. Matty says. So, yeah.
What if kind of Starfield is by them?
Oh.
Just a proper curveball. It's like we don't know what it is, and all of a sudden it's like this massive MMO or something.
Oh god.
That would be
Everyone's
Oh,
expecting like an epic Fallout type game, and it's kind of like this MMO.
Oh god.
World of Warcraft.
I wouldn't want it to be that. Put it that way.
No.
Twitter will be a war zone after that.
Oh yeah. Chris, prediction number 3 here.
I'm gonna go back in time and a bit a bit of an old plug for my old studio. I think
Okay.
Sony will reveal a new Wipeout finally.
Okay.
So
That'd be exciting.
I think it's an IP. So this is just wild prediction. No one read anything into this Twitter. I don't want to see me being kind of quoted by Guinness. So I reckon, Sony bring Wipeout back, and I think it will be Lucid, who are the guys who've done Destruction All Stars, because they contain quite a few previous Wipeout developers. Makes the perfect combination for those, and they're a very talented team. Bizarre Creations, you name it. So yeah, I think Wipeout and Lucid are making it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
Wild prediction. Quoted on IGN tomorrow.
It is a wild prediction. I mean, they probably. I don't want to say they need a rebound after Destruction All Stars, but they kind of need a rebound after Destruction All Stars, right? Like a game.
It wasn't received. Yeah, it wasn't received very well, and it's nothing. It's nothing against the talent of the studio and stuff like that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Joe. It's one of those games. I think if there were more. Well, saying that, I was going to say if there was more kind of PS5s in the wild, and there was a more kind of diverse owner base of PS5, because at the minute, the people who've got older PS5s are enthusiasts, early adopters, and so on and so forth, and a lot of scalpers, as we know, unfortunately. And I'm sure scalpers are not playing anything whatsoever; they've just got them ready to sell. So I think if there was a good, larger kind of fan base of varied gamers, so more casual and stuff like that, I think there would be a decent player base on that. But I just think, unfortunately, it's one of those. It's just a game that's been kind of received at the wrong time. I think that would be a perfect game to release if there was a good, 30, 40, 50 million PS5s are knocking about, and you've got like a really good attachment rate. Give it away for free, get people on it, and then, and as I say, it's nothing against the development team's talented. It's a highly kind of polished game and things like that, but obviously they're looking at kind of introducing bots into it and stuff now to fill up those kind of servers and games and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I would still give Lucid Wipeout all day long. I know the talent that exists there, and I know they would be able to resurrect that as a brand. And you could start looking at using the Destruction All Stars engine, if you think about some of the stuff that the engine's doing, start to kind of change the world, the assets, so on and so forth. You can kind of see them moving into that quite nicely.
Yep.
Wild prediction, or is it? Or is it? Or was it breaking news? Who knows?
That's the title of this podcast.
Former PlayStation dev
Wipeout
confirmed.
confirmed.
Former PlayStation dev confirms existence of Wipeout sequel. I'll stick with PlayStation, and in a similar theme to you, bringing back an IP. I think we see the return of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, and it's just a Smash Brothers ripoff this time. They don't try to do the weird, we're gonna be a little different. Just rip it off. I don't put Final Destination in the game. I don't get whatever. Like, give me a Battlefield clone. Give me stages that are just as ridiculous. I don't care. I just Smash Brothers clone, PlayStation All Stars, and that could be
Evo.
Yeah, you could put it at Evo. That'd be perfect, Amon. You're making my case for me. I just want to be a Ratchet and Clank main. That's really what I'm looking for.
That would have made the game better if they just ripped it off initially. So if they made it,
I agree.
I'd be happy.
I'd probably
Who do you want to work on it? Who do you think's working on it?
I don't know who's working on it, man. No one, no one in reality, but that's what I'm going with. PlayStation All Stars coming back. Yeah, Tom, back to you.
All right. EA announces the new NBA Live game. They have been on a hiatus for like 3 years now, so it'd be NBA Live 2022. And I will also throw on that the cover star for this one will be Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's all.
I don't know who that is.
It's tame. It's not too wild.
Isn't he like the MVP?
Definitely not.
No, but he's dominating right now in the playoffs, so maybe he will be.
Is there a curse for the cover star, just like there is for Madden? The Madden cover star always gets injured.
I mean, it's basketball,
really?
dude. Everyone gets injured like twice a season.
It's a non-contact sport. How did they get injured?
All right, Amon, we're up to you again. I'm waiting for the heat.
All right. This one's gonna be good. All right. So my prediction for this is going to be in the WB Game Showcase, not an acquisition. Just saying, not an acquisition. So we see Robert Downey Jr. walks on stage, and Ed Boon walks on stage. They both together announced NetherRealm's upcoming game, which is going to be a Marvel-themed game, Avengers versus X-Men. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the star of it. He is going to be the face model of Iron Man himself. So yeah, it's going to be the Keanu Reeves moment from what we had at E3 2019. RDJ.
So NetherRealm, which is directly related to Warner Bros., who has rights to DC, is going to go out and get Marvel rights for your fighting game.
Yes,
that's what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, that's what the rumors are saying.
So there are rumors that NetherRealm is working on a Marvel fighting game already. Ed Boon even winked at it on Twitter, like he knows the rumors are out there. So it's not the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard. And personally, I would love it. I would lose my mind if Robert Downey Jr. walked on stage and was like, "I'm Iron Man in a fighting game for NetherRealm."
Well, where the rumors that they were. Well, obviously, parent companies kind of splitting, trying to split all these Warner Brothers studios. So maybe that's already done. Maybe someone else has bought NetherRealm, and that's where the Marvel kick-ins coming. Phil walks on with a Marvel t-shirt and it becomes an Xbox studio. It's just every studio just becomes an Xbox studio. Phil, brilliant.
No, he comes on stage, he rips his shirt open. There you see NetherRealm plus Xbox.
Mayday Bomber says, "Why not a Marvel versus DC fighting game if they have the
it's too soon
property?"
for that. Too soon for that.
Too soon.
I think they should do a Marvel themed game and then build up on a Marvel versus DC game. I would like that.
They should do their own video game universe where the story somehow interconnects to the Injustice games.
MK versus awesome. DC versus Marvel.
Ed Boon, please. We need you. Not the hero we deserve, but the hero we need.
No, imagine Robert Downey Jr. and Henry Cavill both walk on stage and announce a Marvel versus DC game.
They do that meme where they hold hands,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole clutch.
Yeah,
So, oh yeah, it's time.
that would be great.
All right, that's a good one. Chris, got another one for us?
I don't know. I'm running. I could go kind of out. I wanted to save outrageous for towards the end, like really outrageous. What's going on? What have I been discussing with other people? I don't know. I'm caught. I might just go with the outrageous one now. I
Go
think.
for it. Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Gonna say Phil and Jim walk on and Xbox acquire Sony. You know what he was?
Oh my god. You have been talking.
Phil walks on, opens his jacket, and he's got a picture of Jim, Ryan. And then Keanu Reeves comes out, says, "You're breathtaking." Jim comes out, and it just becomes metal. And that's why Sony have not got their own event at E3, because it's part of the Bethesda Xbox event.
We said 90 minutes, we meant 9 hours. Let's go.
Oh,
You haven't talked. You said 2 things now that Amon has said before.
yeah, I've been pitching this for the last 7 weeks. No, 34 weeks.
34 weeks. Yeah, I think you said on our first podcast you were like, "They should buy Sony."
IGN tomorrow is going to be former Sony dev. A joke.
47.
Confirmed Wipeout and Xbox acquisition of PlayStation.
I'm gonna email Ryan McCaffrey after this. Ryan, I got a scoop you're not gonna believe.
You're not going to believe this.
This dev was off cuff. He was going crazy. All right. I'm gonna go with Nintendo. The final 2 characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are revealed, and they are Crash Bandicoot and Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. So Crash Bandicoot for the West and Tales of Rep
No
for
Master
the
Chief?
East. No, I don't want Master Chief in Smash.
Okay. What do you mean final 2? So we're not going to get any more characters after this?
This is the last 2 of the Fighters Pass, and Sakurai hasn't announced the 3rd one yet, which I would love if he did. I will buy as many characters as you want to make. But these are supposed to be the last 2. And last E3 we got Banjo-Kazooie and Hero from Dragon Quest. So they like doing multiple reveals at E3. They've done it before for Smash 4, and they like doing something for the Western audience and something for the East. So I think this is pretty good. And Lloyd scored highly in the ballot in both Japan and the West. So make it happen, please. Please. I think I'm probably the only one here that cares about Smash, really.
Yeah.
You're like in the pro scene and fighting in tournaments and you got money the other day on Smash. So yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
All right. Tom, we're coming down to the last 2 here. Let's make them good.
All right. So Ubisoft announces a Splinter Cell full reboot. Every story that happened prior is gone. Doesn't matter. We're gonna get Sam Fisher, fresh new game, just like they did with Tomb Raider.
That's Sam Fisher when he was a kid, like a prequel.
Oh yeah, he's like crawling.
We've had normal. We've had like old Sam Fisher.
Night
now
goggles
we get,
on the
like,
ground,
one.
puts it on. Time to go
Figure-
get the milk.
You get trained.
Tom, you stole mine.
That was one of yours?
Yeah, that was my last one.
Oh, wow.
And I was
What
gonna
baby
do it
Sam
such a
Fisher,
dramatic
or-
way. Okay, let me just do mine then. Let me just say it in my dramatic way. So basically, we see a cinematic tease. There's mist all over the screen. We see a silhouette walking from far behind. He slowly makes his way through. Then, as he gets closer, we see the 3 green beams glowing. And then he comes in front of the camera, picks his goggles up, and boom, Splinter Cell.
See, but you
I'd buy
added
that.
on to it. You made mine cinematic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen,
Now I need to do another one.
As I've said before, I don't like Ubisoft games, but if I don't care about the company unless they give me a Splinter Cell. So that's where I'm at with them.
I'd be up for a Splinter Cell reboot, definitely.
Yeah.
Would Ironside be in your cinematic vision as well, man? the
Who?
voice of Sam.
Oh yeah,
Michael
that would
Ironside.
be perfect. That would
Gonna
be
just
perfect, man.
his
That would just be
little
perfect.
a little statement
The
in his
icing on
gruff
the icing on
voice.
the
What he left out was at the end of it was comes to our new mobile game. Comes to Division Heartland.
I can see that too happening. That's
We all start crying. You got
Or
us again.
Sam Fisher comes to Valhalla, and it was kind of like his ancestor.
Oh.
He's got his goggles are
It's a
kind of just
skin-
like
it's
made
a
out of
skin.
bone or something.
It's a skin for Assassin's
No,
Creed Valhalla.
I think he'll come to Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good.
you can recruit him on the street.
Yeah.
He's just having like a burger in a joint or something, and you just recruit him.
And then they just pan to the virtual audience and see tears running down everyone's cheeks. Chris, I know you said you're running out. If you don't have any more, that's fine. We can go to mine.
No, I've got. So I think I've got a. So a while ago, Xbox were having conversations with Warner Brothers, and obviously it didn't quite work out. The reason I don't think it worked out is because they were in the middle of the Bethesda or the ZeniMax acquisition. So it's I knew they were at kind of like lawyer conversation point, Xbox and Warner Brothers, and I just think it.
Is this inside information
Got-
or just
this is something that happened when the original rumors. So when the original rumors went about that Xbox was speaking to Warner Brothers, and then obviously Warner, the parent company, came out and said we're not selling.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they are selling again. What a surprise! I think that was kind of okay. We're having a conversation. We're now going to say we're not selling to see if anyone else goes, will you sell? You know, and they've kind of come back in the market again. So I think that could have been, that could have been stopped because it was just getting a bit complicated with the ZeniMax stuff. I think there was also a slight issue around, where some of the kind of IP lies. So where kind of Batman lies and things like that. But to get talent like Rocksteady and people like that, I think it would be a worthwhile acquisition. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of rears its head, and if Xbox want to do a kind of acquisition stunt at the show, it could be it could be like a Warner Brothers connection or something. Wouldn't surprise me if that kind of resurrects itself again. That's for sure.
Well, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't want Warner Bros. If we don't get the Batman IP. I think that's the most valuable asset when you're acquiring Warner Bros. The Batman IP. Yeah, but like an original IP from Rocksteady, I don't think so.
I'd let Rocksteady do something new. I know what you're saying about Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a talented team, a good engine, awesome fight mechanic.
Yeah, but I want Rocksteady to make more DC games. I don't want them to make original IP. They're great at making DC games.
Yeah, take away the creativity. Why not?
You're never allowed. I suppose you've got like Monolith as well, so I'd be quite excited for.
Yeah.
If there was an acquisition, you get Monolith. So you obviously, I think that there was rumors, wasn't there, of like a reboot of Shadow of Mordor again, or like a next gen version of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd love Monolith to kind of bring Condemned Criminal Origins or something back, to be honest.
Ooh, throwback.
Yeah, it was a great game. I think
Underrated.
it was published by Sega or something at the time, wasn't it?
So
Warner Brothers. Sorry.
I want someone to make a Flash game, like The Flash, not a Flash game.
Okay.
The Flash. That's not a prediction. I'm just saying, like, he's my favorite DC hero. So if you have the rights, please, someone. And I only say that because I played Infamous Second Son recently, and the fetches power basically was the Flash, and I was just like, I want to see a sweet version of that.
Yeah, you could imagine some cool gameplay mechanics with what was done in in the Zack Snyder's revisit of can't even remember the Justice League. So I think all of like Flash's kind of scenes in that were just like so cool. You know, that kind of like freezing time or you know those elements. So yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think there'd be some really nice kind of gameplay mechanics.
I want a Superman game. I really
No, you
want
don't. We've had them. You don't want one. You don't want one.
No one wants it. No.
Go play Superman
Why? But
64 and then tell me you want it.
No, but that Superman game would just be really cool. I think. I think Monolith were working on that, and the project got cancelled. Something happened with that.
I'm biased because I don't like Superman as a character. I think he's boring.
Oh my!
Flies, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm invincible. Only a rocket. Like, oh my god, you're so boring, bro. Yes, he has some cool stories. Like there are like Dark Side. Like there's lots of cool stories with Superman, but him as a character, I don't care about. Okay, my turn. I'm gonna talk about Team Ninja here, and I know everyone's probably thinking, "Oh, he's gonna talk about the Final Fantasy Origin rumor." I'm not. PlayStation's gonna get that, but Ninja Gaiden 4 is gonna be announced and exclusive to Xbox. They're gonna give one to each. So that's where I'm at. That's my thing. Ninja Gaiden is coming back.
Nice.
There were rumors of that. Like I think earlier this year there were rumors of that. So
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
that.
could be happening.
Cool. Tom.
All right. Square shows off Final Fantasy VII Episode 2 and confirm that both Episode 1 and 2 and the remainder of that franchise is not coming to Xbox.
Not at all.
Not coming to Xbox at all.
At all.
So everyone that is hoping and still like lingering, like, you know, they announced Final Fantasy VII for Xbox eventually. No, it's not. They're going to cancel it, and it's not happening.
It's canceling it. Can they do
Phil,
that?
I think Phil did say that it was coming to Xbox.
He said more Final Fantasy is coming. I don't know if Final Fantasy VII Remake was ever specified. All we know is that it says like at the end where it's like console exclusivity ends, whatever.
Xbox just acquired Square Enix and end all of this.
Versus Amon, Dawn of Superman reboots, says Yellow Devil. What were we talking about?
Predictions.
Right. It's your turn, Amon.
Yeah. So I think we'll get a Star Wars game from an Xbox studio announced at E3 this year. I'm not sure exactly which studio it's going to be, but there were rumors again earlier this year that Xbox had sort of licensed out an IP from Lucasfilm Games to either remaster or remake or make a completely new game. And I think ZeniMax Online Studios' game is going to be a Star Wars game. But yeah, we'll see.
We're massive. Supposed to be rumored to be doing a Star Wars game as well.
I think so.
The guard division.
They are. It's confirmed.
Yeah,
it's
they're
confirmed
definitely doing a Star Wars game out there.
Yeah. They confirm. But that's like years out because they have the Avatar game coming before that, and then it's the Star Wars project.
Now, when you say Avatar game, are you talking the blue people or the Airbender?
Blue people.
Oh, I'm immediately less excited. I'm immediately care less.
Tell you what though, that Snowdrop engine though, it's glorious. Even the division with its kind of FPS boost and auto HDR, HDR looks amazing still.
Oh yeah,
I think they can make a great Avatar game. The world is like it looks beautiful, so I think they can make a great one.
You mean Pocahontas in space?
Yeah.
That's what Avatar is. I don't like that movie. There's my hot take, Yellow Devil. I don't like that movie. Chris, last few. You got another one?
Yeah, so I think I've kind of shouted about these, so I'm not sure whether we'll see anything at E3. I hope we do. So Embark Studios. So Patrick Sutherland, former DICE EA, new studio. Some of their stuff looks good. Phil's been photoed with Patrick quite a bit and Embark. So I think there's something brewing with Xbox and Embark. Whether it's an exclusive or whether it could be a timed exclusive, it could be a marketing deal or something. But I've just got faith in the talent at that studio. If it could be a kind of a reimagined, Battlefield type game. Completely kind of removed from maybe constraints that EA had around Battlefield, and they wanted to do something different. I think if you do a little bit of digging, you will see little bits of footage of kind of like space exploration type footage from Embark. If you look deep enough. So yeah, I think something interesting is brewing there. I hope whatever they're working on is shown at E3, and I've got a feeling there'll be some type of tie-in with Xbox. I certainly haven't seen Jim Ryan getting photos with Patrick Sutherland, that's for sure. So who knows? But there we go. And I think Phil's been quite vocal about visiting that studio. So as we know, Phil has a purpose to talking about things.
Hold on, before we get to the next thing, Yellow Devil says next episode needs a Phil Spencer deep fake panel guest.
We just need Phil Spencer.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll come right over. My turn. I'm gonna go. I'm saving the last two. Nintendo, going back to Nintendo, announces a Mario and Luigi RPG for the Switch. I love Mario and Luigi RPG. It's been a while since we've had one. The studio, I forget the name, that was doing these games closed down in like 2019. So they have the IP just sitting there. And I would really love if they just brought it back.
Would it be for Switch though, or Switch Pro? Would it be? This is the reason why you get a Switch Pro.
Well, no, I don't think it's the reason you get a Switch
I don't
Pro.
know. We believe in generations.
But
Mario Luigi
Switch
RPG.
actually believes in generations.
No, I don't think. Well, first of all, I don't think the Switch Pro will be. I think everything you can play on the Switch Pro, you'll also be able to play on the Switch. I just think it'll play better on the Switch Pro. That's how I'm viewing the Switch Pro. So because they got the Switch Lite too. They don't want to maybe be like, well, I mean, to be fair, there are games you can't play on the Switch Lite, like Mario Party. But yeah, Mario and Luigi RPG, make it happen. That's what I would love. I love that series. It needs to come back. Tom, we're down to the final two.
All right. So Activision revives one of the worst hated Call of Duty games, Call of Duty Ghost. It makes Call of Duty Ghost 2.
No. Hot take. I like Call of Duty Ghost.
I love the story. I like the
good
campaign.
game.
That's the only reason I want
Duty.
another one. That's why I brought it up.
My friends and I had a
Duty.
blast in Call of Duty Ghost. We used to go into Search and Destroy and all put on riot shields and C4 and then just crawl on the ground while people are like defusing the bomb and trap them in like a riot shield thing so they couldn't shoot us because they're on our like.
We're barricading
It was the funniest. Yeah, seriously, just barricade the last guy. It was the most fun Call of Duty. Like the last time I actually enjoyed that franchise. So
Ooh,
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I really like this campaign of it.
I'm on. Last two. Bring the fire. He muted himself.
Okay, for my next one, I think so. Square Enix, they have their showcase on the Saturday before E3. So I think they'll end their showcase off with a new Tomb Raider game, exclusively on Xbox, a timed exclusive.
You think? I mean, didn't they just? Wasn't that supposed to be a trilogy?
Well, was the trilogy to like hype people up?
Yeah, but probably.
Didn't they brought it to an end, didn't they? They could reboot it, or are you kind of doing a full 360 where Xbox got loads of stick for making Tomb Raider kind of timed exclusive, and it just goes back to they just go, we don't care now. This is like full
We're doing
exclusive.
it again.
New trilogy. Start from scratch, boys.
This is Lara Croft now. It's a completely different model. Like, oh, we got 16 of these. I don't know. Tomb Raider's never been a franchise I really connected with, so wouldn't do much for me. But Plus, we have Indiana Jones from
Yeah.
who's making that machine?
Machine,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they would want like a competing, because we all expect Indiana Jones to be similar to Tomb Raider and Uncharted, right? So I don't know if they would want that competing with it.
Will it
Imagine
be
they
similar
make
to,
it
have they
first
said it'll be
person.
similar to them, or will it be first person? Yeah, will it be kind of
Yeah.
total curveball and do a kind of Bioshock first person
Like a
story
parkour-ish.
driven?
Like a dying light parkour-ish.
Yeah.
Exploration. Yeah.
Mirror's Edge vibe.
Yeah.
Mayday Bomber asks who would even make the Tomb Raider game. Crystal Dynamics is
Crystal
still being
Dynamics.
forced. No, he says Crystal Dynamics is still being forced to make that failure of Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
Well, yeah, Crystal Dynamics are working on a Guardians
Yeah,
of the Galaxy game, similar to
Yeah.
Avengers. Yeah, they confirmed
Then
it.
they should just give up if they saw the reception with Avengers. But yeah,
Isn't not Crystal Dynamics, the Montreal studio that Square Enix has, they're making the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what Jason
Yeah,
Schreier. Yeah, Jason Schreier said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, Square Enix is making a Avengers type Guardians of the Galaxy.
I hope it's not Avengers. If it's anything
No, I
like
think-
Avengers,
I
they
think
need
it
to.
is Chris.
Oh God, they better retool that. All right, Chris. Final two. If you got big ones, now's the time.
So final two in this one, or have we got one more round after this one?
Yeah, one more. So like, yeah,
Okay.
give one and then your final one next time.
Okay, so I'm really interested in what Compulsion are doing. So the thing that really kind of piqued my interest with Compulsion is Bioshock meets Uncharted. And I think Compulsion, I think We Happy Few kind of shows what Compulsion have got in their locker. If you think, obviously, it wasn't really kind of, hugely funded and so on and so forth. And obviously at launch, it had a few issues and stuff like that. But, we can obviously, look past some of those. It's a big game. It's ambitious. It had some like really nice mechanics and things. So I think being part of the Xbox umbrella, big AAA budget, extra support, so on and so forth. I think was it Jason Ronald, or I think it was Jason Ronald, or it was someone basically said they're supposed to be working on a Bioshock meets Uncharted type game, and that could be incredible. So a little teaser or some gameplay or just something to show us what they're working on that side would excite me no end.
I haven't heard about that. That's cool. That sounds
Well,
yeah.
Dungeon also said
Bioshock
it's
meets Uncharted,
his-
yeah.
Well, one of his most anticipated projects he said the Initiatives project and Compulsions project. They're his
Yeah.
most anticipated ones. So.
Cool. That'd be exciting. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. All right, I'll give my penultimate one. Sega teases a sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon called Yakuza Way of the Dragon, launching day one on Game Pass and timed console exclusive. I love Like a Dragon. I think it's phenomenal. Why it's in my top 10 games of all time. That's my game of the year last year. I can't rave about it enough. Tom's playing it right now. Lord Cognito, who we had on a few weeks ago, I think he just beat it. So, yeah, give me more Yakuza Like a Dragon universe, and they're buddy with Sega. So I think Xbox can
Yakuza
that.
Become the Dragon. That would be pretty cool.
I went with the Way of the Dragon. Sounds cooler, I think.
I can see that actually
All right.
happening.
If I get the title, Sega, you are legally required to hire me.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. Last one, buddy.
All right. So during the Microsoft presentation, Gabe Newell, head of Steam or Valve, walks onto stage and he says, Half-Life Alyx is coming to the Xbox Series X, now with supported HTC Vive and Oculus support. Boom.
Wow.
Okay.
That would be big.
Yeah,
You-
mic drop.
I
That
wish
would
he
be a
just
mic
come
drop
on.
moment.
Yeah. I think you should just do like Half-Life 3.
But we're
Half-Life 3 on Xbox would be big.
VR support on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
not
but-
big on. I'm just
yeah,
not big on
I don't
VR.
really like. I don't like VR
Dude,
that much.
so Flight Simulator is supposed to come to Xbox eventually. I think that game would be so freaking fantastic with some sort of VR headset.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I have to get your VR legs. So I've got like a Quest 2 and I like certain games on it and stuff, but any flight sim game, oh my god,
Can you
like,
imagine going down?
feels so sick after about 2 minutes in it. So
You're flying flight sim in VR. You run out of fuel. The plane starts going down. Like, man, I played. First time I ever played VR was in a Best Buy, and I forget what game it was, but basically you were a mountain climber, and you stood on the side of a mountain, and you could look down, and you would just be standing on a tiny platform, and the ocean is just like 40 feet below you. My heart rate on my Fitbit spiked to like 140. Like I was panicking over here. I don't like heights. And this game was freaking me out. So if I'm in a plane, flight sim, VR, no. I'm gonna have to have some life alert system to automatically alert the ambulance. Amon, last one.
This was where my Splinter Cell one was supposed to come in, but I do have a backup. So Nintendo Showcase. Breath of the Wild 2 gets announced. Metroid Prime 4 gets announced. Bayonetta 3 gets announced, and Pokemon Shiny Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. And at the end of the show, Switch Pro is revealed. And then Doug Bowser, I think he's at Nintendo, he comes on and says, "Oh, by the way, all of these are going to be launching alongside the Switch Pro. So Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, and Pokemon Shiny Pearl and Brilliant Diamond all launching alongside the Nintendo Switch Pro."
All reasonable besides Metroid. That game is never coming
Yeah.
out.
So so that would put the Switch Pro release date in November, because
Yeah.
Pokemon got dated for November.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think it'll come out around that time.
Man, November would drain my bank account then. We're getting Switch Pro. Like, oh man. I don't think it's the most unreasonable prediction. Like, it would be a get hype moment for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's what I think. I personally think Nintendo's gonna have the best showcase in C3.
I mean, they have to. My Switch has been a Smash Brothers machine since January 2020, so they need something to get me playing it.
Yeah.
I think might be the time for me to trade my Switch in just before the Pros announced, so I can then buy. I think there's a deal in the UK at the minute where you trade a Switch in, you get like a Series S for like 40 quid or something. So if you want like a
Oh, okay.
secondary, yeah. So Game UK, I think you can trade a PlayStation console in or like an Xbox One
Where
and get
where at CEX? At CEX?
no
or-
Game UK.
Okay.
So
I mean,
if you
because
trade
CEX
in an
usually does
Xbox
these
One
deals.
or PS4, you can get one for £99. If you traded a Switch or Lite or whatnot, you get it for £40.
So I'm gonna send you over my
So-
Switch, and you do that for me, and get me that Series S and send it back to me.
I know when the next gen consoles are coming out here, GameStop, which is the American version of they're the
Yeah.
same company. They had, I think it was $250 if you trade in your Xbox towards one of the next gen consoles. I think they were giving you, so it's like half, basically cutting your price in half. So I'm hoping they do something for the Switch if the Switch
Yeah.
Pro comes out, and then I can be like, "Here's my Switch. Give me that Switch Pro for like $100 or something." Like, that'd be great. I would love that.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, I imagine the Switch Pro launches at like $500.
I don't care what it launches at. Like, if it's a big enough upgrade, I'm gonna get it. If it's not
I
that big
doubt
of
it's
an
gonna
upgrade,
be big enough. I think it's just gonna be like 4K resolution. That's it.
if
Whoa,
it's just
also,
4K,
it's
then
also
it's
gonna
not
have
a pro.
Android
And 60
integration. And you
frames.
can make phone calls on it.
The
Stop.
OLED, the OLED. They might get the OLED screen and 60 frames and whatnot. I think
Well, I
What
wouldn't-
if the Switch Pro was not a handheld and they were just like it's
That's
a home
what-
console again?
That's what I want. I've been saying that for I
Okay.
said, just give me
Yeah.
a dedicated home Switch because I've played my Switch in handheld mode maybe 1% in the last 3 years. So it's not even worth it for me. Like I don't care about the OLED screen. I don't care about the increased battery life. I literally just want 4K and more power. Just give me more power. Like put it on. My dream is like it becomes as powerful as like the PS4 Pro.
Good shout.
I prefer the handheld.
Forget that. I don't need that handheld. The Joy-Cons are the worst controller ever made. And it's not comfortable to hold in handheld. Like, it's
Worse.
infuriating.
N64 says what?
No, Joy-Cons are worse than the N64.
Okay.
My left stick on the Switch Lite has got drift already, so that's why I want to trade it in.
He took it out of the box with a drift on it. That's
Yeah.
the problem. All right. Final prediction there, Chris.
So I've got two. I've got a very quick one, which I think EA will reboot Medal of Honor and just say
Okay.
we've had enough of you Activision and your Call of Duty. We're gonna bring Medal of Honor, and actually Medal of Honor Warfighters was it or something, where they're kind of modern version. I really enjoyed the campaign on that. I think it was better than a COD campaign. So that's just my little one. I'll go with with what Tom said earlier. I think Gabe's going to come on and go, Steam is on Xbox. Enjoy. I think there's going to be an Xbox Game Pass. There's going to be a Steam Game Pass partnership in some way, shape, or form. I think and the reason why I think something will happen with it is I don't know if you guys saw that like mobile phone footage of Gabe in like
New
school.
Zealand.
Yeah, in New Zealand, and someone had the courage to say, "Will Steam come to console?" And he kind of answered in a very interesting way. And let's face it, Gabe is one for kind of saying how it is. So I think that'd be quite interesting. Although your kind of Switch Pro stuff created a wild scenario in my head where the Switch Pro becomes a home console, so there's no handheld version anymore. But then they announced Game Pass on it, and xCloud allows you to play Switch games in handheld mode on your phone.
That's great.
So just a mental tie-up.
That would be awesome.
It'll be Phil wearing some type of Nintendo shit. Whatever craziness happens, it's Phil revealing it on a t-shirt.
He doesn't even have to do it on a t-shirt. Like during the presentation, he literally brings his home office on stage and does it there.
Yeah, he just puts his shelf in the background. Guess what's happening.
The Xbox subreddit made a bingo card for the presentation, and one of them is literally Phil Spencer's t-shirt. Mayday Bauer says, and it has a graphic along with Medal of Honor peeing on the grave of Titanfall.
All three.
I would, yeah.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
Titanfall, I think it deserves a game.
It deserves better than what
game.
it got, yeah. Titanfall 2 is great. That multiplayer was phenomenal.
Mhm.
All right, last prediction. And I'm gonna end it off here. Everwild is shown. It is an open world RPG similar to Breath of the Wild and wins an award at the E3 award show.
I'd love that. I can't wait to see what Rare do with Everwild.
The game just looks beautiful, and I love Rare.
Yeah.
And
yeah, me too.
I was just thinking.
So
like,
I hope
what
your
could it be?
prediction comes true. If any prediction happens, I hope yours
That
comes
one.
true. Yeah.
But you're wrong though, because it's not going to be a Breath of the Wild's clone. It's going to be a party simulator, sort of like Fusion Frenzy, because we don't know what that game is, and that trailer showed us.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, it's an open world RPG.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a party game.
Please don't make it a
Open
party
world
game.
RPG.
It's Mario.
I like
DLC
an open world RPG.
It's DLC to Sea of Thieves.
You go to one island on Sea of Thieves, and suddenly the art style and everything just changes. It becomes really beautiful. Animals everywhere. All right. Well, there are our
I think they're a
E3.
very underrated developer. I think you're
But
right,
then,
though. I
Kevin,
think
you
the
Oh,
won't
yeah.
play it then. You don't like open world games.
I'll play it because it's rare, though.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Good
and
chance.
Everwild looks beautiful. The art style, like I'm gonna play it no matter what, and it's on Game Pass, so gonna get it. But yeah, please, Rare. Good predictions, guys. Not as outlandish as I expected. I think a lot of these have a good chance of coming true, and we will see who won E3 predictions on our wrap-up show after after everything's all said and done. A little hard for the Sony because we don't really know what's going on. Might just have to wait and see on that, but I think we're in for a good time. So, but we're gonna call it there. That was our last prediction. Make sure you tune in next week
Just one more
for.
thing.
Oh, you got one more.
Before we end it.
Oh God.
Yeah, and no, not a prediction. Just saying that people, whoever's gonna watch our E3 coverage, I'm gonna be here in a three-piece suit, ready to claim my victory of my predictions because I think I got the most right here today.
Bring a monocle.
Monocle. Oh, monocle. Hot puns. Okay. All right. Time to end this train wreck. Thank you everyone for watching. Tom, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Alpaca Tom.
Amon, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at amon_m05.
Chris, where can they find you?
Twitter, CJ Grannell, and Xbox Live, Hard Times UK.
And
Now recording.
And I am Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon. It's a 1 and 7I and an O and 7A. You can find me there at Twitter, any social media. So come hang out. And remember, please everyone, go to Apple and drop us a review and rating. Please. That's my one request. Let's get to 20 and maybe I'll do a giveaway of some sort if we can get those up. So if you really want a giveaway of something, go rate us on Apple and review.
Game Pass
and tweet it at us. Yeah, Game Pass giveaway. Sure. But we gotta get 20 before I agree to anything, and then we'll do a competition. So, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.